I never fit. I was an alpha female, a sales executive that kind of just didn't fit in any box. When psychologists or somebody that I was in love with or whatever said that I was in the wrong body, I started to think, well, maybe I am. I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not gonna live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects?
No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental. We have studies that said that medical transition helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
After?
After surgery. But that's transphobic to say.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful because we can put that pause on puberty. It's like if you were listening to music, you put the pause on and we stop the blockers and puberty would go right back to where it was. The next note in the song just delayed that period of time.
You can just pause puberty.
No, you can't.
And then pick it up.
No, you can't.
In the future.
No, you can't. How many studies do they have, long-term studies, on hormone blockers with children? None. For the first time in history, a marginalized group has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. Every child that they convince is transgender and in need of medical transition, it generates $1.3 million to pharma. And we're believing a pharmaceutical company, Lupron, hormone blockers, reversible, so they say.
This is bad. This is very bad.
So let me just get this straight. In the last few years, a biological male has been named Woman of the Year on several magazine covers. A biological male is referenced as a top-ranking female in our White House. A biological male was named the NCAA Women's Swimmer of the Year. A biological male is making tens of thousands of dollars being the face of womanhood for Nike, for Tampax, for Bud Light, for Kate Spade, and countless other companies. A biological male took home the award for Best Actress at the Golden Globes. Are we really still trying to make the case that feminism supports women when the feminists are completely silent and or cheering on biological men taking over the space of women? Somebody spell this out for me.
Really?
Say, congratulations, you played yourself.
My younger elementary school son came back from school last year about a book that he read in the public library about how a boy could be a girl. And I'm getting emotional over it. As a mother, how do you combat this when your 6-year-old and 5-year-old is looking at you asking all these questions?
You need to channel that upset, and you need to make sure that you affect change. Become problematic for that school in saying that I'm not going to allow this to slide. I'm going to make sure that this is okay. I'm going to network with other parents, and I'm going to raise hell until the situation changes. We're fighting right now a custody battle over our children with the state. We need to adopt the attitude of recognizing this was ever intentional by design to remove parents, remove mothers from being the CEO of their homes, transferring them to the workforce so that the government, the Department of Education, could raise your children and indoctrinate them. The only way that you're going to reverse that is to fight it head on. They were scared. When mothers began showing up at school board meetings, they didn't know what to do.
It is a sickness.
I mean, I agree with her. This is where I stand on this situation. As an adult, I don't care if you identify as a goat, banana, chocolate. I couldn't care less. But forcing this on kids, that's where I draw the line. I mean, let me get this straight. So as a child, you are not allowed to have a license until you are 16. You can't even drive a car until you are 16. But you can learn how to transition at the age of 4. Come on.
I'm not into all the other bullshit. I think
What other bullshit?
the they and them.
Yeah.
And all that extra shit that we added during the pandemic because everyone was so bored on their fucking houses. They just started to make up more shit and more shit.
More stuff.
Yeah. That's where the conservatives like me because I'm just real.
Yeah, you do have a conservative
you're not
vibe to
they
you.
and them. You're trans, you're male or you're female.
And you're standing on that.
So mad when I say that. How are you a they? What the fuck does that mean? It's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
But you need someone like me that looks like me to say it. Because if you say it, it turns into you're homophobic, you hate trans people, you hate gays. And it's just how you feel. You don't hate anyone. You just think it's stupid.
We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean, good Lord.
We'll end with this because we're talking about womanhood. So people can probably shout out the question I'm going to ask you right now.
Okay.
You know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
So gender is a social thing.
Out of this place. Damn bloody fool.
It only
I don't want
makes
to hear
sense.
that. What is a
social-
woman? What
No.
is a woman?
What is a woman?
The word woman, define in the dictionary. Go.
A woman is somebody who is included and respected and seen and participates in society,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
recognized by other women. If you speak with women,
Circular definition.
that's mine. Whatever.
Okay. All right.
Come on now, dog.
Actually a part of that organization that was going to come and try and derail you tonight. I didn't hear a single thing, though, that constituted an attack on queer or trans lives or an attack on me personally. So I don't know what they were on about there. Moreover, everything that you have said on gender identity, gender expression, John Money, pronoun usage, what else? The sex gender distinction, you are 100% correct.
Wow.
You are 100% correct. I don't know if you've ever heard that from a trans person before. I identify as a trans woman. You are 100% correct on there. And it is an absolute travesty that the trans community bases everything on such vacuous concepts. My thing is, though, is I don't agree with your conclusion. I don't agree with it. But more so, the reason why I don't is less a matter of argumentation and more so a matter of method. You've stated time and time again that your approach to this is to try and keep things simple and uncomplicated, as in you don't try and engage with the nuance of the position of trans people. But that's exactly how my org treats you. They don't think that your arguments are worth looking at because they cast you as a transphobe. I did otherwise. I looked, I'm like, yeah, no, this guy's absolutely correct on all these things.
So which conclusion are you? You said you disagree with my conclusions.
What's the conclusion that of the model that you're postulating of gender? Of that it's just this, you have man, woman, they're biologically contingent. My sort of question is, do you think that defaulting to simplicity, if this is the most dire issue of the age, which is something else that I agree with you on, do you really think that a method of simply recoursing to the most simplistic matter of approach is what we should be doing here?
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
You
Because I mean, I appreciate. I appreciate everything that you said. And I appreciate your attitude. I very rarely encounter your attitude from that side of the ideological aisle. So I appreciate that. But yeah, I do think that making it simple is the right approach because, to my view, it is a very simple question. Now, if you want to get into the personal experiences of each individual and someone who's experiencing gender dysphoria and what do we do to treat that problem? Sure, there's all kinds of personal, subjective nuances and things like that. If someone is If my child came to me and said that they were confused about their identity, I wouldn't just say, get out of my face. I would want to sit down and talk to them. And that's when you get into, that becomes a sort of an interpersonal exchange. And so you get into some of those personal nuances and everything, and that's fine. But the underlying fact, the underlying reality is simple, that there are only males and females in the human race. There are no other categories. There is no third sex. It doesn't exist. Even though we hear about intersex people, an actual intersex person would be someone who has the reproductive capacities of both men and women, males and females. Such a person has never existed, ever. So what I see here is a binary system, and in that way, it's very simple, and I think that has to be our message.
Got him. We fucking got him.